2020, a year that was supposed to go down as a banner year for Ghostbusters fans and Ghostbusters collectors. And so far, not so good. Let's talk about that. And today we're going to talk about Ghostbusters and what was supposed to be, as a Ghostbusters fan, our year in so many words, and kind of has gone way downhill. Part of that was everything going on, but another big problem with that are the fine folks at Walmart. We'll get to that in a second. So first off, I understand that this has been an odd year. Obviously, the whole pandemic thing has made a lot of things change. The world's changed, and that's fine. And this is in no way saying that toys in movies are more important than what's going on in the real world. Totally understand that. But this is still something that has happened, and a good chunk of it could have been avoided, I believe. So we're not comparing apples to apples here. This is something that we know there's a grander thing hanging over our heads, but this is the part that could have been controlled, and it's vastly disappointing. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So first off, going into 2020, Ghostbusters was on the tip of everyone's tongue. You had the new Afterlife movie that was supposed to come out this summer. And then Hasbro got the Ghostbusters toy license. And at Toy Fair blew everybody's mind with the Plasma Series figures, which I have somewhere. I'll get one of those in a minute. The Neutrona Wand, which, if you don't know, is the gun part that comes off a proton pack for the Ghostbusters. That was going to be made to look like Egon's from the new Afterlife movie. And anyone who doesn't know, the cool thing about having a new Neutrona Wand prop, especially one that has movie sounds and things of that nature, is back when Mattel had the licenses, their Neutrona Wand was so good that places who sold kits to make replica proton packs stopped including wands for the most part, because they just tell you to go buy a Matty wand. You could use an audio cable inside a piece of loom, and people 3D printed the coupling, whatever. My proton pack uses a Matty wand. And because of that, Matty wands got super expensive. I think if you went now on eBay, you're looking at about $400 to $500 for a Neutrona wand if you wanted to make a proton pack. So it was nice knowing that they had another one in the works that was going to be back at the $99 price range. I think the Mattel one was like $170 when it came out, but this one's going to be $100. It's still supposed to come out, but that was number one. New Neutrona wand, new movie. And the movie trailer came out, and it looked really good. It had a lot of Easter eggs for our Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters. It even had the sidecar pop out from the real Ghostbusters Ecto-1 car. That was crazy. That was like, they brought my toys to life, which was nice. But the biggest thing that really got people buzzing was, no matter how good the Neutrona Wand was, or how good the Plasma Series looked, which they are very nice figures, we'll do that in a separate review, was the fact that they were bringing back Wave 1, the original 6, Kenner Real Ghostbusters figures. Now, the Real Ghostbusters was the cartoon version of Ghostbusters that launched in the late 80s, early 90s. It was called Real Ghostbusters because of some disputes with Filmation over the name. They secured the Ghostbusters name, Paramount did, for the movie, but not so much, not Paramount, Columbia, for the movie, but not so much for the cartoon. So you had the Filmation Ghostbusters, which was two dudes and a gorilla, which are also pretty good toys and a pretty good cartoon. Then you had the Real Ghostbusters, which were cartoon versions of Peter, Egon, Ray, and Winston, and Slimer and Janine and all that stuff. So these figures were coming out, and everyone got really excited, until you found out it was a Walmart exclusive. Anyone who collects action figures knows anything that's a Walmart exclusive, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And this will turn out to be not only no different, but possibly one of their grandest F-ups ever. So they went live on Walmart's website for pre-order back in February. It was not too long till after Toy Fair they went on for pre-order. Went up, I think it was 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So I was able to get up and get on and I got my figures, boom. So I'm like, man, I have these things locked down. And these weren't just like, I wanted these because I like to buy everything that comes out, obviously. But these were, I mean, anyone who listens to the podcast knows, Ghostbusters has an emotional spot for me. So I didn't just need these to have these. Like, I needed these to need these. Like, these had to reside in my house. There was no question about it. I had to have these. So once I got my pre-orders locked down, I was very excited. Then a couple months goes by. Actually, it wasn't even, probably about a month went by. And you start getting some tricklings on the internet that these things are hitting the pegs on the West Coast. I'm like, cool. So everyone's like, hell yeah, pre-order should be shipping any second now. Give me my figures. They didn't. Then you got more pictures of them hitting pegs. Still not shipped. Then you start seeing sets on eBay for $300 a whack. And then your figures got back ordered. And that's where it really got out of line. So they back ordered everyone who had their orders pre-ordered. So technically, the pre-ordered ones were figures they sold prior to the street date. So logic would say, and if you went through, any other retailer, like, a big bad toy store, an Entertainment Earth or whatever, when they pre-order something, those go first. You fill the pre-orders, and then any stock that happens to possibly be left over, you hold back for a while to make sure there's no shipping problems. So everyone who pre-ordered theirs gets what they ordered. They already paid for it ahead of time. And then if there's any stock left over, you in this case, put it on a peg, or you sell it off through the website. Didn't happen. So some time goes by, and you see, okay, everyone got the Ghostbusters. Okay, and they're on eBay for crazy money. Then Slimer or Green Ghost and Stay Puft start showing up places. Same thing. Your Slimer and Green Ghost, your Green Ghost and Stay Puft get back ordered. And then you don't know what the hell is going on. So then you hear these rumblings out there that there's all kinds of problems with the card, which we're going to get to. So during this whole mess with people not being able to get their pre-orders, and with the scalping community going out there and scooping these things up as fast as they can to get these up on eBay, I was able to make a couple rounds and grab a couple sets. So I have a set up on the wall here that I have in Toy Shields, and then here they are. These are the real Ghostbusters figures. So they're the original molds, which is awesome. Everything about them is the original colors. Like the streams match the old streams from the 90s and all that stuff. And the ghost is the same colors the ghost they came with back in the day. Whatever. Even has the Kenner insignia on the card. And these things are such a faithful reproduction that I was reading reports online that people, if you didn't see the little Hasbro in the corner here, people are actually getting duped into thinking they're buying OG figures with these, which is kind of crazy. That's how faithful of a recreation. Even like they have the original Ninja Turtles, the original 6 Ninja Turtles coming out for San Diego Comic-Con as a GameStop exclusive. The 6 figures are on recreated cards, but they have a huge Nintendo banner across the front, so you can't make any claims that it's an original figure. It says Nintendo, but not Nintendo, Nickelodeon up at the top, and Nickelodeon did on the Ninja Turtles back in the day. So these things were tricking people. The other problem, from what I've read, is this right here. This Who You Gonna Call. So Who You Gonna Call, as everyone knows, is the Ghostbusters tagline. But here's the problem. The Who You Gonna Call is a separate trademark line from the Ghostbusters, and the no ghost symbol, and the Ghostbusters names, and the word proton pack, and everything like that. This little doozy here, the Who You Gonna Call, came up because it was created in the song. So Ray Parker Jr. owns this little phrase right here. And they had his permission back in the day because they launched a giant toy line in a cartoon, and they probably paid him a bunch of money for it. They didn't ask him about this. So what happened was they had to stop production and change the card backs. And this is where it gets super duper screwy. This gets absolutely insane. You ended up with cards coming that were totally different. So they were the same color, obviously. But like right here where it says Green Ghost figure and accessories, Green Ghost figure, that's what it said on the original Slimer card. You know, the who you gonna call and everything like that. The new ones just said Green Ghost. The font's closer to the bubble. And also, the new cards have tri-language on them. I think it's Spanish, French, and English. So they're international cards. Which, if you pre-ordered something, and there's a variation of it, and you didn't get yours first, if you pre-ordered these, you were the first ones on the trigger. You didn't end up getting these nice, authentic-looking replica cards. You got the crappy tri-language ones, which, from just a customer service standpoint, is so trash and so unbelievably Walmart. And it's sad. It really is. It's super sad. So I had my set pre-ordered. I ended up getting them. Luckily for me, I got them all in decent shape. The other weird thing was, so Walmart gives you free shipping. And I know Walmart doesn't care about money because they have money to burn. But they ship these things figure by figure. Instead of just sending you like the 6 of them like in a box, they ship figure by figure. So the first one I got was Stay Puft. Stay Puft came in a Walmart box, nice box, packed with air mailers. Got them. Card was in decent enough shape. I would call it like a case fresh kind of deal. Mint. A couple weeks later, I get Slimer. Same thing, box not bad. Then a long time goes by. Then the Ghostbusters start trickling in, and they shipped Egon and Winston separate boxes the same day, which made no sense. But same thing, everything's showing up boxed in air mailers. So I'm like, okay, so at least I'm getting these things in good shape. So I have a buddy of mine, my buddy Dave. He's a huge Ghostbusters fan too. He was unable to find these things in his area. So I tell you what, I was like, I'll send you mine. Just get me back for whatever they cost. I didn't mark them up on them. I was like, just, whatever I paid for them, you pay for them because I know they're going to a good home. So I'm waiting for them all to come in so I can send them to him, and I don't get Ray yet. And I'm like, ooh, I don't like this. And then Ray shows up, and not a box, not a bubble mailer, but just a standard like white and silver poly bag mailer that you'd get like a pair of shorts in from Kohl's or something, or like a t-shirt. So I see this thing on my doorstep, and I am sweating bullets. But luckily, he was okay. The corner was a little dinged. Wasn't bad, though. But then I'm just curious. As I start looking online, and some of these things are like, they're getting folded in half and shoved in boxes. They're showing up like the bubbles are popped off the card. It's ridiculous. And it's like, I understand like Walmart and Target, although Target has been excellent with their figure shipping. I'll get to that in a second. To them, it's just merchandise. So they don't realize it's a mint on card collector's item figure. They don't care. They don't care. But it's still merchandise. You're still fulfilling customer orders from paying customers. And they have no respect for the merchandise at all. It boggles my friggin' mind. I just don't get it. But that brings back to like, the bigger thing. So not only did Walmart completely pork anyone who ordered these things in good faith in February, like completely screwed them. They created a massive imbalance in the figure collecting market. And what's so troublesome about this is not only do these things not exist anymore, the SKUs are all deactivated. If you ended up getting figures that were destroyed and you called Walmart customer care, they'll basically tell you, too bad, there's no more in circulation, it's gone. So, luckily, I was able to pick up a couple sets. Thank Christ, because, if all I had was the ones, and if you're like me and these like have like an emotional attachment to you because it's something you had from when you were a kid or, anything like that, and you wait and you're stressing out about getting them and you can't find them in stores and you don't have the money to spend $300 a set on eBay for $14.97 figures, and these envelopes show up with your Stay Puft Marshmallow Man bent in half, that's just, it's ridiculous. And what kind of sucks about it is we're kind of at a place where in the collectors community, at least I feel, the mint on card collector, we're about to go extinct. Because, like I said, Target has been great. I've been getting a lot of my Power Rangers figures from Target. And the new G.I. Joes, when they come out, I went with Target as much as I could. But between Amazon, who this is Billy from Amazon. He's all banged up because they throw these things in envelopes too because they don't care. To them, it's just they made their $20. They don't care. That in this Walmart thing, it's going to be very hard to get stuff on card. Another big collector's thing is the the new wave of NECA movie Ninja Turtle figures. I had the original ones that were GameStops. We could go into a GameStop and pre-order them and get the Turtles and Splinter and Shredder. The Casey Jones and Raphael 2-pack sold out in 3 seconds. It's going for hundreds of dollars already. And those things are going to show up friggin' obliterated. Completely destroyed. And the same goes for Super Shredder. And they're getting the He-Man Origins figures. And same thing. Those come out in September. They started hitting pegs already on the West Coast. So people who haven't pre-ordered aren't getting theirs. They're hitting the pegs again. They're being bent in half and just thrown all over the place. The Masters of the WWE figures, you can't get a hold of like Macho Man, or I know when Many Faces New Day comes out, it's going to be the same thing. And just Walmart getting exclusives is a huge problem. But there's nothing you can do because no more Toys R Us. So you have to go through these big box guys like Walmart and Target if you're a toy company. So you can't, Hasbro can't worry about what condition things are showing up as, which sucks for us. So, like I said, if you order these things and you got these crappy French tri-language friggin' international cards, my heart pours out to you. I'm so sorry. But like I said, luckily for me, I was able to do a lot of 7 a.m. runs, and I was able to lock down a couple sets of these things. And they're everything I hoped they would be. They really are. So let's talk about them real quick from like a review standpoint. So they're not super detailed. They're not super, no like crazy articulation, no hip swivels or nothing like what we have now with like Lightning series, even Plasma series, anything like that. But these things are great. So here's Ray. You got Ray, Proton Pack, everything's the way it should be. I mean, these things are just like, they were such a big toy back in the day. Everyone had them. If you didn't have them, you wanted them. I mean, the fact that they very easily could have came out with these, and they could have put them in like some funky colored jumpsuits like the later lines did, or made them all khaki like the movie or something like that, or changed the ghost around, or made them like they could have put them on a new card, and it just wouldn't have been the same. It's nice that they do this. I'm a big fan of the re-releases. Like I said, another thing Walmart screwed up was if you do Star Wars figures, the Empire 40th anniversary figures, yeah. Good luck trying to find those in good shape, or good luck at all trying to find a Boba Fett. What a nightmare. Luckily, I got one, but once again, took a lot of hunting. But yes, I mean, these things are top notch. Like I said, they don't get high points for detail or, crazy packaging. The cards are huge. It's crazy that this used to be in a Toys R Us on a peg down the line from like a G.I. Joe. It was just like this tiny little thing on a tiny little card, or even like a Star Wars guy. Because this is before Power of the Force came back out. But they're awesome. I mean, Stay Puft's cool. Stay Puft's the only one that, as far as I can tell, is different than the original figure. The original Stay Puft figure was fatter. If you see him from the side, his belly came out a little bit more. So the only thing I can think of is that it would have been a hassle to like recreate the bubbles a bigger setup, or it wouldn't have fit in the box right or something like that. So what they did was they just kind of like, with the computer now, they probably just went 15% of stomach and print him out. But he's awesome. Also, the Stay Puft used to squeak back in the day. There's no peg hole in the foot to make him squeak, as far as I know. I haven't opened them. Like I said, I was going to open this second set, but now that these are all the Who You Gonna Call cards, and I'll never be able to get them again, and the value for the Who You Gonna Call cards kind of shot up, I don't think I'm going to open them. I'm not. Like, I could have kept my line, my tri-language ones, and opened them and played with them for like nostalgia's sake. But like I said, I had a buddy who really wanted them, and I feel good enough knowing they went to another Ghostbusters collector. But these are probably going to get toy shielded and put away just in case something happens to one of the ones I have up my wall. And and I might get them signed too, like Maurice LaManche, who, if you don't know, Brain from Pinky and the Brain voiced Egon, and he comes to a lot of conventions around here, and that'd be cool to get one signed and stuff like that. And so that's a possibility. But they were a top-notch toy back then, and they're a top-notch toy now. And it's really a shame that, like I said, what could have been this awesome year for Ghostbusters collectors has been really, it's been super tarnished by this whole thing. Because this was, I mean, this was more than just a toy release to me. This was everyone knows nostalgia sells, but people in my age range, I mean, we didn't just have these things as kids. We loved these things as kids. So you kind of effed with a lot of people's emotions. People had it set in their heart that they were getting something that they loved as a kid, and Walmart, like Walmart does to everything else, just ripped your friggin' heart out and destroyed it. So bad Walmart, bad. This was horrible. And like I said, going forward, they have He-Man, which sucks because He-Man's about to kind of pop up again. Anyone doesn't know, Kevin Smith is show running the new He-Man cartoon for Netflix. Mark Hamill's in it and stuff. It's going to be awesome. Dietrich Bader. So it's going to be a tough rest of 2020 for us toy collectors and even beyond. We need Toys R Us back, people. Someone needs to pop up with a retail toy store again and start treating these things with some respect, or at least someone else needs to start selling more toys so that Walmart doesn't have their fingers all over all these exclusives. Like I said, they have He-Man, they had these Ghostbusters, they had the Masters of the Universe WWE line, which were pretty cool if you were into those. There's a ton of guys you just could not get your hands on ever, and it's only going to get worse. It just really sucks. It really sucks. And so we're going to try it again next year, Ghostbusters fans. So next year, Afterlife will come out. Hopefully all this craziness will be behind us. If you're looking for the Neutrona wand, it's supposedly still coming out in the fall. I've heard late September. I know for a fact if you go to a GameStop store and you can pre-order one for I think $10 down or $5 down, it's still a pre-orderable item in their system as of today, which is July 6th. I know that. I checked. So, like I said, if you got these things on the Who You Gonna Call cards, good for you. If you bought these things to sell them on eBay for $400, we don't like you. If you're working shipping and receiving in Walmart, we also don't like you either. You guys suck. Like, that was ridiculous. I mean, to imagine, like, even if it wasn't a toy, say you bought, oh geez, I can't even think of it now. Say you bought a DVD from Walmart, or say you bought a PlayStation game from Walmart, and they decided that instead of just putting it in a box, they were going to open it and bend the case backwards, and then stick it in a box and pop the disc off. I mean, it's just like, they don't care. It sucks. But unfortunately, like I said, Hasbro needs to keep using them for things because Walmart, they're one of the biggest retailers. Like I said again, in all this, shout out to Target, because Target's where I've been getting my my Plasma Series figures, and which all came out great. And then most of my Lightning figures, they did cancel my Blue Rangers on me because something happened. I don't know what, short shipping or something like that. So I got these off Amazon, and Amazon, same thing. They banged these up. The fact that Amazon's getting the Storm Shadow G.I. Joe exclusive scares the hell out of me. But for the most part, they've done a pretty good job. I got my Carbonite Mandalorian from Target, my Gold Zeo Ranger, I think, still in the box, and they show up and they're bubble wrapped, they're taped up, and they're inside the box with air mailers, the way you should ship anything. Not just because it's a toy, because it's a piece of merchandise a customer paid for. So there's my little rant on that. So bad Walmart, Target, pretty good. Amazon, also on their way down. So like I said, so once again, if you got these things the way they were intended, kudos to you. They are gorgeous. If you did not get them the way they were intended, I feel for you. I really do. And if you have these things on eBay and you haven't sold them yet because you haven't marked too high, mark them down to a reasonable price. I mean, obviously you need to make a few bucks off them, but you don't need to charge 4 times the retail per figure. I mean, people want these things. Just do it. Anyway, that's the end of my rant. So like I said, so I would see this whole figure line, if you got them constituted, I would say easily a 9 out of 10. Easily a 9 out of 10. Maybe even go 10 out of 10, because if you have these things mint, they're worth it for the nostalgia alone. So if we had to do top 3, because we do the top 3 around here a lot on the podcast, top 3 figures from the relaunch wave. So number 3, we're going to go Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He's adorable. He's got the little hat on. He's a sailor. So he does step on a church, but that's okay. We'll let him pass on that. So number 3 is going to be Stay Puft. Let's see. Number 2, we're going to go Egon Spangler. Egon Spangler was my brother's favorite Ghostbuster. So, we're going to do that. So we'll go Egon number 2. And then the number 1 figure for the real Ghostbusters Kenner Retro Wave is Dr. Peter Venkman. So, everyone loves Venkman. He's most people's favorite Ghostbuster, I believe. I do, even though Ray has the original color jumpsuit, I always like the brown jumpsuit. And even cooler, I think it's HalloweenCostumes.com or maybe it's Spirit. They have real Ghostbusters jumpsuit costumes. You can get the brown Venkman one and the kind of blue Egon one, kind of like the shirt I'm wearing. So yeah. So top 3 is Stay Puft, Egon, and Venkman. So once again, thanks for checking us out. We're gonna try to do more toy reviews. As I'm more the toy guy. We have the other guys collect their own stuff, but if you haven't yet, like and subscribe. Any comments leave them below, because I'm still new with this whole thing. I'm trying to get the hang of it. If you want to listen to the show, you can see most of the episodes here on YouTube, or follow wherever you get your podcast: Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, etc., Google Play, at fmen37 on Twitter. And thank you much.